pair of scissors for you in their own little cap. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Testing, testing. Can you hear me? The blue light is on. Do you want me to turn it off and on again?
I think we're working. We're on a big delay for so hopefully it comes through in a second.
Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Speaking at my normal cadence. All right, okay, sounds good. We have someone who can hear us. Perfect. All right, perfect. And then I will hand this over to the person doing the presentation, actually. Here we go.
Okay, thank you, Kate. All right. Can you hear me, Jarrett? Can you hear me in the mic? Oh, it'll be on a delay. All right. Okay, everybody, are we ready to start? Does everyone have their kits? We're all ready to go. Okay. Welcome, welcome to the Siebel Center of Design. I'm Amelia, and I work here at the SCD. This is Kate. Tell them about yourself, Kate.
Oh, yeah. So I work at the iSchool Student Affairs. So I'm an MSLIS major, and I actually learned Japanese stab binding in one of my classes recently. Book Lab with Ryan Cordell. If you are on the MSLIS track, I heavily recommend it. He's very fun.
All right, thank you. So today we're going to be doing Japanese stab binding, and just as a quick little beforehand, I did want to introduce SCD. Here we are your university makerspace. You can do a bunch of cool stuff here. We have, like today, our educational workshops and events. You can complete personal projects. We have sewing machines in the back, an electronics lab. You can print stickers, posters, a bunch of personal stuff with our large format printers. We also have screen printing. We have a fully functional wood shop over there, a joinery lab. There's even a media studio you can use with cameras, podcasting equipment. There's a bunch of cool stuff here, so I just wanted to welcome you to our space and to this workshop, and thank you for coming. So let's get started. So what is stab binding? This is a form of bookbinding that, for what we're doing today, we're doing Japanese stab binding. So it's pretty distinct from other bookbinding in a couple of different ways. I have some stuff listed out here. So first of all, we've got the flush book block. With a lot of traditional binding, we have glue, papers, cardstock to create the opening flap and the spine. With Japanese bookbinding, while this one does have an additional piece here that creates the spine, you can create it just as we will be doing today, where everything lays on top of each other and it's connected through thread. Additionally, you also may note the patterned sewing, so it's very pretty. This is just about, it's equally aesthetics as it is function, and that's what makes it quite different from a lot of other book bindings. And again, it's not adhesive, so we aren't going to be getting sticky fingers today, hopefully. We'll just be using thread. And let's go to the next thing here. We're going to talk a little bit about the history. So paper making originated in China during the Han Dynasty, and that totally revolutionized, librarianship, books, bookkeeping as we know it. And in general, the earliest books were calligraphied rolls, and then these were accordion-style folded. But once we got to Japan, they decided they wanted to be able to have more paper collected in one place, so that's where the thread comes in. You can create much bigger book blocks when they're held together by thread rather than the folding style. So in the Tang Dynasty period, that's when Buddhist texts started to evolve to being bound. And here you can see, this is some of the Chinese binding practices that stab binding was inspired by. So the Heian period is kind of when this really took off. The technique that we're doing today that we also originated in the Heian period is Yamato Toji. This was used for manuscripts, literary works, and as you can see in the picture, we have papers laid right on top of each other, and that creates the booklet, and then thread sewed them all together along the side, and that's how you would create the volumes. And again, this doesn't have the traditional spine, and that also influenced Japanese writing and a lot of writing around the world, written from top to bottom, right to left, right, and then the binding style reflects the way that those papers were read. So here's where things get a little bit more artistic. The book trade in general boomed in the Tokugawa or Edo period. So as you can see, this is when things start getting a little bit more artistic. We have designs, covers with artistic paper. We have different binding styles that were more than just functional. This is where the aesthetic part really took off. And additionally, calligraphy and general inside designs were also used. So I'll show you the next picture. This is where printing and the printing press went crazy. So this is when it also boomed into a business. So each page was printed and then handwritten and folded with the text on the outside. You kind of have the image right here. So the stitches passing through blank margins next to loose edges, so the sewn edges form the spine. So it would be along this thin edge, and then right here you can see that they've done it right along the edge, and that's what creates the binding in the middle there. And then this was dominant through the 1880s. So this was like the commercial print onwards. This is when movable type was introduced. This is the commercial printing. And you can see like things are a lot more standard here. All right, and then general production. So it took a lot of people to make books, obviously, but in Japan specifically, we had a lot of different creators and creatives, especially women. Women were very, very big in the bookbinding business in Japan. So copyists were used to copy text over and over. The block carvers had they had their entire artistry business on creating like, beautiful and intricate book blocks. The cover makers, self-explanatory, and the cover makers were mostly there were a lot more women in the cover making business and the artistry business. This isn't reflected in Japanese historical texts, but they are in records. So we do know that women were very prominent in the production of bookmaking in Japan, even if they weren't depicted as bookmakers in the art or in a lot of the tutorial texts on bookmaking, but we do see it in their actual records, which is interesting. And then, of course, the artists. You can see some of the beautiful art. These things are hand-painted by artists, so it took a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of skill, even though part of bookmaking in Japan then was machine done. So here we have the artistic changes. This is where book covers started to evolve, not just to be artistic, but functional as well. So we have a color coding system in the 18th century where certain genres of fiction have different colored covers. So we have red books, yellow covers. This is kind of where you get some modern phrasing as well in a lot of Japanese or even East Asian cultures, talking about like the red books, et cetera, like to kind of subtly talk about whatever genre you want to say. So like erotica books had their own color and their own style of cover, so you could sort of discreetly refer to what you're trying to buy. Here we have some of the different examples of just how intricate these covers are. And again, these were handmade. So moving on to today, here's some modern day stab binding. You can see a butterfly and some flowers. So this is from Becca Making Faces, who's a very popular bookbinding resource today. She makes tutorials and free online text and video content about Japanese stab binding. And she herself has designed at least 60 stab binding patterns. And these are from her website. And again, it's all free. So if you're looking for a free resource on this, Becca making faces is a great one. And we've kind of fully gone for artistic more so than functionality with a lot of these since they are handmade. And here's what we are doing today now. So we have two different stab binding patterns, the noble pattern and the hemp pattern. And by pattern, of course, we are referring to the stitching along the side. So the noble pattern is just a very nice, simple sort of block. And then the hemp pattern, which we'll go into, is a little bit more intricate, where you can see all of the different stitches that are made. So these are traditional designs, but this is, again, from a modern tutorial base that we're working with. So you guys should have your packets with you from Amphion Online, which will help us get started. All right, and Kate, will you please take over with talking about how to get started?
All righty, here we go. How's my audio? Looking pretty good? All right, perfect. So y'all are gonna hear me say Elmo a lot probably today. That's just our little gadget that we have sitting up here. His name is Elmo. He will allow us and you guys on the screen to see what I'm doing with my hands. All right, so I brought a couple examples that I have made just to show you guys what is possible and what is maybe more difficult or maybe impossible with some of our bindings today. Okay, let's see. I have two showcasing what we're doing today. Elmo? Perfect. Hard to hear? Okay, so just project a little bit. Is this better? All right, perfect. So this is the one that we are doing first off. This one's called the noble binding. You can see it has 4 basic stitches and then 2 little extra ones back here. I also made a hardcover version, which you're not doing today because that one has quite a bit of difficulty. There we go. You can see it opening on this side. And it's also, I just want to show you guys that you can do, once you're past the first part, you're going to be able to do a lot more interesting stuff inside. Like here's a bunch of different papers that are happening on the inside. One that I'm really proud of that I made was a zine for Willem Dafoe, all of his best poses. With this stitch that honestly didn't go too well. This is one of the potential difficulties that you'll be facing today, but that's okay, is that some of these are kind of loose. So just a lot of Willem Dafoe poses are what I did for this one. We love him so much in the iSchool, actually. So, all right, let's get started. You two. Ooh.
I will be walking around and sitting in the back. If anyone needs help or is stuck on a stage while Kate is presenting, you can just raise your hand and I'll come over and help you.
And thank you so much, Amelia, for doing that. Let me pick up something from down here. Okay, let's get started. You have all been provided with 2 different instruction sheets. So pick the one that says Kanji binding. That is the noble binding that we'll be using first. We also have these 2 different book blocks, so just use one of them. The second one's for your second binding later. And then pick 2 pieces of paper that you want to use for your cover. So I got this funky looking guy, and I have this one that I have not cut out yet. So I want you guys first, before anything else, to cut out your covers. They should be the exact same size as the paper from your book blocks, so it'll be 8.5 inches by 5.5 inches. I could just trace mine, or if you want to be really exacting, you could use a ruler potentially, but I just traced mine. That helped a lot. So let's get started on cutting those. Probably a lot of like waiting periods just to make sure people are caught up. Perfect. Man, I hope I sound good. I put a lot of effort into making sure I wasn't sick today. Right there. How you doing? I put my hair up because I didn't trust it. Mm-hmm. Plus, it's warm down here. And also for those of you online, just a small bit of information that might be useful for you. This is one that I made a little bit ago. And just to show, this is an older postcard, I believe. Yep, there it says postcard, but you can see that it has already started being damaged because it's such old paper. So keep that in mind when you're choosing your paper. It also shows a lot of really fun pieces in here. So if you get advanced enough, you could potentially also choose ones that don't quite reach to the full 5.5 inches. You can also see a potential downfall in this one in that, like, I chose to do like a book like this as opposed to a book like this. These books never lie flat, so like that's the most you're ever going to see. You're going to be missing like an entire inch potentially, so keep that in mind when making future choices with these, which is why today we will be going this way. How's everyone doing with their covers? We don't need to worry about decorating yet. That can be done afterwards. I don't know who this man is, but he's very contemplative, I think. He's having a fun time. Oh, dude, mood. Just like, hello? And then someone said, yeah, this is what I want to paint you as. And they're like, are you serious? I modeled for 3 days and you want this one? It's a vibe. It's, yeah, I think you unfortunately have. Yeah. I brought a lot from home that I just know I wasn't going to be able to use. Yet those are... No, that's really good, actually. All right, how are people looking so far with being ready with the 2 first book covers?
Book covers feeling good?
Feeling good? Ready to move forward a little bit or wait another minute?
1 minute.
1 minute, okay.
Great. Yeah, take your time, guys. This is a pretty quick process once you get started.
Yeah. And as someone who does embroidery, it's like, oh, okay, light switch turned on. Mm-hmm. It's fun. Ooh. Thank you, Neil. There's the one there's the one spot I spilled coffee on. Let's not put stuff on there. just getting a good view of all of our lovely in-person participants. As you can see, we brought a bunch of potential material for them to use. So definitely a bit of, here's too many choices. Now find 2 things you like. How's it going, Caitlin? Oh, Caitlin, you got the rainbow paper. Yes. Perfect. Spooky. It is. I see myself in my profile and I'm like, uh-oh.
Every time I look at my iCard, I scream a little.
Yeah, iCard, I got that one when I walked to campus in August. And then it rained. And then I was like, I don't care enough to wait for this to be retaken, so I'm just going to do it now and suffer the consequences.
I was anxious and sweaty in my iCard photo. Yes.
Mostly. Welcome to college. You can't escape the driver's license ID photo, even here. All right, I am going to start moving to the next step. So just moving forward, as you can see on the screen, I have my front and my back. They're pretty well lined up, which is what's important. And we're going to put that to the side. So all of you in person here got a piece of paper like this yellow strip. You're going to take that out now. And we're basically going to turn it into this by the time we're done. This is going to be our template that we will use for stabbing our book block in a few minutes. But first, we need to make the actual template. So to start with, all of ours match, which is what's important for us. And if you all have pens on you, and starting out with, bring out your rulers as well. Mark down what side is going to be your spine. So I'm just going to put spine on one side so I always know where it is. Yeah, we're going to write down just like the word spine on one side so that we always know what side the spine is going to be on. Make sure you guys can see that actually. Yeah, I knew I shouldn't have used pencil myself. Bit better on screen? Oh yeah, I brought my little markers today. Yeah. And then spine in, we are going to measure out 3/8 of an inch. These numbers are going to be very annoying today, and I apologize for that, but that's just what we're doing. So 3/8. These are centimeters. I should probably go on the other side. There we go. 1, 2, 3. And then you're going to measure 3/4 of an inch. So 3/4. And then I'm going to do it up here. 3/8 and then 3/4. And then I'm going to move this a little bit off here so I can actually manage it. And then make a straight line down both of those tick marks you have. Do it one more time. Yes, so we're measuring in on the inch side of your ruler, about 3/8 of an inch for that first line, and 3/4 of an inch on your second line. And then I usually, when I do that, I make a tick mark down here and a tick mark up here, and then combine them using the ruler edge because it's already a straight edge and going down. straight line for a maybe not so straight person. If you hear me making random comments like that, I am trying to make my coworker laugh a little bit. It's working very well. Doing good with your lines? Perfect. Yes. Yeah, it takes, yeah, you have to, it's like, surprise, there is a tiny bit of measurement actually involved in the iSchool. The next ones are going to be so annoying, and I'm so sorry about that. At least my nails look pretty. I made sure I did them before I went to the event today. I don't think I'm going to say the name of the thing because they're not sponsoring us, but like, it's a lovely sage color. All right, yep, just waiting for make sure people here have all their lines. Everyone have their 2 lines? Almost? Okay, perfect. Wait just another minute.
Once you have this, though, you can use it for...
Oh yeah, you can definitely like keep this guy for future uses, especially for making specifically a 5.5-inch tall book. And for those of you using it online as well, this Amphion photography, it's printed off right now, but on the website itself, you can put in 5.5, and then it'll give you the exact measurements in decimals. For like, if you have like an 8-inch tall one, you can put in 8 inches here, and it'll show different calculations on here. And I found it very helpful when I was doing my own. There's also some other ones online that will just have like I think Becca Making Faces, her website has templates that you can print out to a specific size and use those just as like it's pre-made, you just have to poke holes. So I found those very helpful. And also don't forget, this is the SCD. And at the SCD, failure is a part of learning. So if it's not perfect your first time, that's perfectly all right. Let me show you my first one. I goofed so hard. These guys are all mega loose, which is not ideal. Also, that just happened, which was not what I wanted, but yeah. First one may not be perfect, and that's totally fine. It's very possible that today I'm making an imperfect one, and that is okay. I am not going to have a chance to do over, so, especially since this is a live. All right, and we are ready for the not so fun part. I'm so sorry. That was the fun part, and now we're going to do more intense measurements. So on our line that's closest to our spines, the one that's 3/8 from it, we are going to go measure this way. And for this one, I'm going to put it down here so I can see. You are going to measure 3/4 of an inch. And then 4 3/4 of an inch. So all the way to this side. And let me make sure that you guys can see that. I'm gonna make sure my tick marks are pretty common. Yep, only 2 for this one so far. So 3/4 of the way in on one side and 3/4 of the way in on the other side.
And this is on your spine side, guys. Remember to do it on that line.
Is that close enough?
Yeah.
Yeah, that helps a little bit. Yeah, so we are going to be going 3/4 of 1 inch. So 0.75 if you use decimals on one side, and then if you don't want to say 4 3/4, you can also just do 3/4 of an inch from the other side. And we're not going to do what hairstylists do and say it's 3/4 of an inch when they actually take off 2 inches. This is accurate. I have been previously damaged by hairstylists in the past. It was frustrating. I was like, yeah, chin length. And she said, oh, cheek. She also started cutting from the back, which is a very bad sign, which is unfortunate because she's a really good hair dyer, just not cutting. Do we have it in centimeters? Yeah, it's also, if you're using centimeters, it's also just under 2, like 1.9 centimeters. Yeah, go ahead. Ooh, those are really pretty. Sorry. Are those from Amelia's book? Yes. I mean, if it's a deaccessioned library book, then you can do whatever you want to it. We are, like, this is definitely, I took this from a magazine today and I was like, that's really cute. Snip. I've learned to have no morals when it comes to collaging. Jarrett, who was our lovely AV assistant today, has some beef with me cutting into National Geographics, but that's a personal issue. Okay. This is going to be so annoying, and I'm so sorry. Yeah. This is going to be so fun. We are going to be going in from the top, so this is the 3/4 line. You're going to be going in and doing 1 3/16 of an inch. Yeah. On the other hand, once you find that with your first one, so for me, it's just 1, 2, 3 little tick marks. Yep, there we go. There's our little tick mark in the top. Ooh, down there's better, okay. And then, a bit easier, now that you know where 3/16 is, we're gonna do 2 3/16, 3 3/16, and 4 3/16. So,
measurements down and
yeah, so here's what they'll all look like. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, but then 3/16 added to each one. Want to just bring this over?
I can show. I was
Yeah.
just going to say you can write the numbers down and it'll just sit there.
Yeah.
If anyone would like to see Kate's example, that's what we're aiming for, and she's writing it down right up there, your measurements. I'll quickly bring it down so people need it. Would anyone?
I was like, yeah, this is going to be so annoying, but this is what we have. Yeah. And my ruler actually doesn't have the 16th tick marks, which is a little annoying, but that's easy fix because we know it's exactly 1 3/16 in the last one. Actually, we know it's exactly 1 inch in the last one, so perfect. And I'm going to make sure that you all can see it. There's our hole. There's our hole. There's our hole. There's our hole. Perfect. Yes? Oh, nope, they're all 3s. Ooh. It's going to be a little crooked today, but that's okay. Is it? Let me double check that actually, yeah. Yeah, you have a good point actually. Yeah, and I lied. This one is actually 6. One quick correction, which is fine because this is a template. We can mess around a little bit. That last one is 6/16, which is what, 3/8? Yep.
Oh, okay.
So this is the one where I did one quite small little mess up. I'm just going to make sure I cross that out so that I do not hit it up later. But yep, there we go. Thank you to Caitlin for noticing. Yes. Yeah, so 3/8. Whoops. Oh well. We caught it, and what's important is that this is actually not going to be shown on our final piece. Yeah, so we'll see the hole in the final piece, but not this little bit. This is just our little template, and now I have the X through it, so we do know he's not allowed. No touch. How does it sound when I'm like shouting to people? Is it still manageable on there? Okay, good. I want to make sure I'm not like blowing someone's ears out online. Okay, perfect. I promise we're almost there. Alrighty. So here is our lovely template that I only have one little mess up on, but that's fine. And now, so here is my personal beast that I'm working on today. We are going to line this guy up on the very edge, so spine on the spine, and use our little clippers to clip him in place. One on one side, one on the other. We do not want him to move in this particular part of the adventure today. So 1, 2, and then I am going to move these down a little bit actually because I want to make sure I can get through that. So he should be sitting, seat on both sides. If you work on it and you can see like this one has in one of the holes, then you could probably move it so that it is, nope, not actually touching one of the holes. There we go. Yeah, mine are going to be a bit north facing, but that's fine. And make sure when you do clip that you have visuals on all the holes so that none are being covered up by the clips yet. There we go, so you can see it facing exactly. Yes, and make sure that when you're doing all this, so far we have cover, roughly 15, 16 pages on the inside. Oh, look at that. And then back cover, and make sure, so this is how it's going to be facing when you're looking at it, reading it, that that is the direction you want your papers to be facing. Because once you stab bind it, there's going to be holes and you can't stop it. How's 505? I took it last semester and I was like, I thank goodness I'm done. So yes, I think Book Lab is a graduate level class, but I think it's taught by Ryan Cordell, who I think also teaches undergraduate classes potentially. Do not quote me on that. But I think he at Skew Morph Press, they do host
print-related and binding-related and zine-related workshops, so he could potentially be hosting one of these soon as well. Nope. We just advertised to the iSchool students here first to make sure that anyone who might be interested in bookbinding as part of their experience being a librarian would get a chance to jump in first. Book Lab. If you're in person, heavily recommend. It's available in the springtime. It fills up immediately, unfortunately, but Ryan Cordell is amazing. We actually did one of these stab bindings in class. It was the 4-hole punch, so that's one I did for this one that I goofed on a tiny bit. And then he also does a lot of really fun things with, like, he runs a printing press there, so you get to interact with the printing press and print like a class zine. Very fun. He knows what's up. Ooh, cool. I am covered in wine. It sits like this. You need to fix that. Hair's down. Woo. Oh my goodness. Okay.
See if that makes it better or not.
Okay. So I'm talking. Hello. Ooh, I have a microphone.
Can you move the microphone a little bit towards your mouth?
Can you all hear me with the microphone? Oh my goodness. Okay. I don't need to talk so loud anymore. Perfect. All right. Can people in the back hear me very well now? Yeah, the speaker is right. It's actually above us, I think. It's just this thing? It's so small, though. The little speaker that could, yeah. Still project, yes. So are we all just chilling with this guy, sitting on our covers? Okay, now it's time to stab. All right, so don't look at me like that. We are going to make sure that we have our pieces of cardboard that we cut for you underneath. Very important, so we do not stab our lovely SCD tables. And then traditionally, you would be using a Japanese screw punch. We try to make sure that this particular workshop was more accessible, so we're using our awls today. This is what mine looks like. That's probably what yours looks like. See, it's kind of a tapered object. Yeah, there we go. And when we do punch today, oh my goodness, okay. I'm just gonna do one, I'm gonna show you how to do them. Because we might have the string going in more than once, it's important when you're poking the holes here that you go like this a little bit to make sure that the hole is a bit bigger. Remember, you're only punching 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 holes right now. And when you're doing it, also, if you want to double check, you can make sure that you can see it coming through the back. Mine's working just fine. And there we go. Let's get punching. So I don't know if you can see, but yeah, you can see through the holes a little bit. That's how big they need to be. And like I saw, see how I accidentally put the wrong one right there? Make sure you're not going through that one and going through the correct hole, which is the one that's 3/8. There we go. We can see out the other side. And you can see out the other side. Perfect. And then do not take this guy off yet. Just leave it, and then we'll move it for the next step. You see all my lovely little holes in the cardboard? He's a trooper. Awesome. Real MVP. We love cardboard so much here. And if you're looking at your guy, like you can visibly see where the holes are on mine. And it does have those like raised bits on the back. That's fine. I mean, there's no way to really escape that. It's paper. You pushing it one way, it'll come out the other. So matching on both sides. I'm gonna let that sit there and I'll wait for people to finish. Yeah, so Japanese screw punches, I got to use them when I was using them in class. They're essentially just like punch holes, but those punch holes would be way too big for this particular assignment because those are like at least a couple centimeters, not couple, just like 1 centimeter in diameter, and that's massive. And we're not doing that today because I value the paper. But Japanese screw punches can be, I think, as small as like 1/8 of an inch. The ones that Ryan has at Skeuomorph range from like 1/8 of an inch to like maybe 1/4, which is pretty good. Yeah, and those ones I recommend, especially if you're using a particularly intense binding style where it's like you see that one hole is going to have like 16 different strands going in and out of it. But for now, these ones I think will max have 4 going through them today, so these ones are fine. Just make sure you get the thing poked through pretty well and you're good to go. Oh, I hit my mic. I'm not used to this thing. You see me using this, but don't worry, we'll get to it soon. All right, how are we all doing, Amelia?
I think we're all doing good.
We're all good at stabbing things, which is a little concerning, but good. All right, perfect. So people who are in person today, you saw I gave you a couple of these little guys. Something to keep in mind when using our little clippies is that they could potentially damage the paper you're using because they do hold on to it so tightly. So one at a time, we're going to move these a bit farther south on the book. And if you want to protect your paper, if you know it's a bit more delicate, you're just going to slip it on there to protect the paper. And then we'll be able to remove this guy because he has done his duty and he is ready to go take a nap. And up to you, it's a bit easier to keep all the holes in a row if you have both clips sitting there. Some people prefer to use just one clip when doing this next part where we're actually going to be doing the binding. I like to keep them a bit farther south just so that everything's definitely going to be all straight while I'm working. Just moving them a bit farther south, could be halfway, could be just a quarter of the way like I did. But we want these to be a bit open right now. I made a great choice in string today. You can see it's all messed up. Yes, so you can still see on mine. All the holes are still right there. And then just to make sure that all of you, everyone's ready? All right. Who's ready for their string? Okay. We are going to take our string. You guys all have a couple options with you. I'm using bright string today just to make sure you can see what I'm doing. Can you guys see that when I do it? Yeah. Okay, perfect.
Choose your string color.
Choose your string color. You guys have a couple options in your kit. Not quite as bright as blue, but that's okay. If you're at home and you are using embroidery thread, that's also recommended, except when you are using embroidery thread, those obviously come in 6 strings, and I prefer to use about 3. So you'll want to be able to separate them. So you have your string, and you're going to want to basically make sure that it's 6 times the height of the book. So I have 1. I like to make sure I'm also over the book because it's better to have a bit extra thread at the end of this particular project as opposed to having to start all the way over by not having enough thread. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then cut. Yeah, Becca making faces online is really good. The only potential downside is that she does not specify how long to make the string for her pieces, which has led to some difficulties for me personally. Which is why I really like this ambient photography person that we're using today because they specifies exactly how much string you're using. What? I do embroidery. This should be easy for me. There we go. Oh, perfect. And once you have that done, we're moving on to the very fun part of threading your needle. I think you guys have in your cases those curved needles and straight needles. We're using straight needles today.
Yeah, the fat straight one.
We want the really big guys, actually.
If anyone needs help, please raise your hand and I'll come help you thread your needle.
Yeah, Amelia's good with threading needles, so if you would like some assistance, let her know. How big is the biggest one? Oh, do not use the biggest one, my dude. So you have a couple options I'm seeing here. Hold on. So in your kits, if you got the one specifically from Amazon that we're using today, there are a couple different sizes. There's this really big one, and I don't think that one will like our holes very much, so probably go down 1 or 2 sizes. I find it helpful to wet the end a little bit because I am not using the waxed thread. The waxed thread has a bit more structure to it, which is actually very helpful when binding as well as when putting it through the eye of the needle. Ooh. How's it going, AV team? Oh. Hello? Hello? Okay. I'm not used to it being in front of my face, so I keep bonking it.
You're going to want to have some
Thank you.
further through just because that makes it safer to use your thread. Yeah, make sure you have a good amount of excess when you pull your needle through.
Yeah, and also, like Amelia's saying, when you pull your needle through, you're going to have 2 ends, basically. Make sure that you have one end that's significantly longer than your other end. Because otherwise, the short end could get stuck when you're binding, and that's kind of annoying to have to pull through. So just keep an eye on where the short end is as you're binding. And no, you are not knotting the end today. So do not do that.
Yeah, do not tie off your needle.
Leave this guy nice and open because we will be knotting him later, but not right now. Oh, fun. I'm leading a workshop today. Thank you. I always appreciate that. There was one time when I was getting my vaccine, and I was getting my vaccine with a bunch of friends who were also getting their vaccines. This was like a couple of years ago, and it was like a cheerleading squad every time we left the Hy-Vee pharmacy room. It was crazy and extremely hilarious. All right, everyone is ready. This is going to be potentially a more difficult part of the beginning of our stitching. So we are not going to be I repeat, not starting by going up through the back to the front or to the front to the back. We are going to be starting in the middle. So don't worry about finding the exact number. We have roughly 15 here, but I am just choosing a random number. This one's roughly in the middle. And you are going to be going up through, oh, I didn't number them this time. I should do that.
Quickly number yours so they can see.
Yeah, I'm going to number mine so y'all can see. Bend it a bit more? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can you all see those numbers?
All right.
Perfect. We are going to be going up through 4.
So again, you'll
Got about
open the center
half.
of your book in between your pages, roughly in the center, and you'll be going up through the number 4.
And then you're going to pull most of the way through. See how I have the very back tail over here? I leave about 2 or 3 inches and just push that in because we don't need to worry about him right now. He is going to be hiding inside of our bookcase, and we're going to put that down flat. So you should have one string poking out the top of number 4 right now. And then also, I advise as you're doing this, just for this first like 1 or 2 stitches, that you're kind of holding that lone string in place just while we're doing this first binding, because you could very easily just like pull it out as you're doing this first stitch. All good? All right, and then we're going to wrap around the spine, go into number 4 again, number 4, and pulling pretty tight, like you know how, I'm sure you guys can tell how tight it is when you're like crunching the paper, but like pretty tight. Yep, around and up through number 4 again. So currently, that is our first stitch. So it should look like, whoop, that on one side, and this on the other. So basically twinsies right now. Yeah, a little bit like a blanket stitch. Mm-hmm. Except a little bit of extra stuff. Mm-hmm. Getting jiggy with it.
Well, actually, you'll come up through number 4. So does it matter which side is your?
Yippee? Yippee. And also, we did print out instructions for all these as well, so if you're having a little bit of trouble visualizing on the screen here, we do have the visuals that are done pretty well by Amphion on that instruction sheet as well. So stitch number 2. We are currently up from 4. We're going to go down into 3. And then pulling all the way through. And then by this point, you shouldn't have to worry about trying to hold in that tail anymore. You can just let it go through. So currently we are sitting out the bottom of number 3. And also, if you're feeling pretty comfortable with stitching and would like to move ahead following the instructions, that's okay too. We're trying to make sure that we're going with the class to make sure no one's getting left behind. Just want to give a shout out to Amelia, who's doing so much work in making sure that everyone in the class has assistance coming right to them whenever they need it.
You can see already, guys, that the box shape is taking form, and that
Yep.
helps you visualize.
Yeah, we're making boxes, so actually.
So it's all going to be straight lines and look like squares.
So the next one is currently we are sticking out of the bottom of number 3. We're going to do moving up, and we're going to go down into 3 again. So we're going to go over the spine again. So now we will be having a box just chilling. We have one box. We'll be making many more. And currently our string is sitting out the bottom of number 3 again. Ooh, this keeps falling. Where is it? I do. I think it just likes to slide on me. There we go. I think. Nope. All of us feeling boxy? Perfect. So currently we are sitting down from number 3, and we are going to be going up into number 2. So flipping over into number 2, going up. So now on the back side, we have not a box, but this is what it should look like the letter L and one I. Don't worry, he'll get to be a box later. And then for those of you who might be noticing a pattern, we're going to go over the spine again and back up into number 2. Do a little wraparound. Do a little wraparound.
I'm glad you got
All right, can we see here? Perfect. Front and, ooh, we have one box in the back now. Perfect. We're back. I feel a bit like an android with all these gadgets around me. Oh, my nails match. That was actually unintentional. Oh yeah, I definitely chose this. I did not definitely see this at the last possible second today in one of the magazines on the table. We are Gucci. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing that we've been doing, but we're going to go up into 2 again, but we're going to loop it on the top of the book. So,
Repeat that one more time, Kate.
yep, we're going back into number 2 and leaving a loop on the top of the book, just right there.
Did that make sense? We went back through number 2.
And
then we went
as you are going through, making sure that you are pulling each one just a little bit tight. Yes, and for those of you online, in your PDF, you should have access to the Amphion web pages, and those also have the visuals to assist you. So, like, I'm looking at her visuals right now as I'm going along to make sure I'm not messing up.
back up through 2, Kate.
Yep, we are up through 2 right now. I hope you guys are understanding the merits of making sure the holes are bigger than normal. Yep. Yeah, we were thinking of doing a hardcover version of these, but those were like absolutely nightmarish when we were practicing. So we were like, let's not hurt ourselves during this particular event. Oh, definitely. In some cases, it's like if you're doing a hardcover, I do not recommend using it all. You're going to want to use a Japanese screw punch. Yeah, that's what we discovered very quickly when doing ours. which is why we are doing these quote-unquote paperback versions today instead. Yes, so this is the front right now. The back looks like this. We've got 2 completed squares. Caitlin, how's Bear doing? Ah, good. Well, yes, I do want to see Teddy Bear. Bear's like this big. Oh, I love Bear. Those of you online, I'm seeing a picture of a dog who frequents the Siebel Center. His name is Bear, and we all love him. Alrighty, and now we are actually moving into a different line entirely. We're going to be going down. Remember, we are currently up into, and we're going to be going down into number 1. So we're going to make our first diagonal.
Yay!
We are diagonal finally, yay.
Things are getting crazy, guys.
We are introducing geometry. A whole diagonal now. And then for our first step outside of this one, we're going to do a wrap around the spine and then back down into 1.
Wrap around spine, down into 1. Does that make sense, guys?
There he is. So now we have this little, I don't know, what do you even call this?
Fun thing, little guy.
A fun thing, little guy?
That's a rhombus.
It's a rhombus. Thank you, audience member. You have a rhombus, and this is what it looks like on the other side right now. We have one little guy sticking out. Huh? All right. We're going to do the same thing we did with number 2 and wrap over the top of the book and go down into number 1 again.
Wrapping around the top, down into 1.
So make sure that you're holding it in place so it's not trying to slip over the spine again.
Just a mini version of 2.
Yeah, so now we actually have a 3D little box right here. We are currently sitting down in number 1. And for those of you wondering why this is a little bit convoluted, there's a reason. The art of Japanese stab binding is, the point is that you are trying not to have like 2 layers of string in the same place. These are all done with 1 layer, and it matches perfectly on both sides. So it's a little, the instructions are very specific for a reason. Mm-hmm.
That's what makes them different.
Mm-hmm.
They said,
Yeah, the Ricker Library has a really good one in their special collections. Someone did little hands on the spine, and it was like, I was like, how in the heck did you manage that? I forget who the author is, though.
It's not too bad, though, because I love numbers. So
Yeah, numbers are great.
that makes it not too bad. All right, does everyone have both boxes, or does anyone need help?
All right, we are all down into 1, and now we're going to go back up into number 2. So we're creating this diagonal, but on the back.
Up through number 2.
So there is where we are sitting now. And like I can see that my tail's getting a bit close to the edge, so I'm just gonna pull the string a bit farther and make sure that it's not getting caught. Looking good back there, Amelia? All right. Now we're going to go down into 3. So we've just gone down into this hole, and my trail's sticking out the back right now. And then we're going to go up into 4. So we are completing one of the boxes on the back here, going up into number 4. So these should, as you can see, match front and back on one half of the book so far. All feeling pretty good. Next up, we're going to go down into number 5.
I got you, dude.
And then if you remember the pattern, we're going to be circling the spine again and going down into 5 again. So now on our side we have 1, 2, 3 boxes, and then our little cube.
What does the back of yours look like right now?
The back of mine, since we just circled number 5, it should match on the top half and bottom half on one side.
So, okay, yeah. Connect your box. You got it. No worries. It's scary to mess up with thread because pulling it back through is annoying. Yep, and then we'll just go across. And then, is it wrapping around for number 5?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay.
And then we're going back down into 5, but over the bottom of the book this time.
Oh. So you'll here.
So we have created another box at the very end here. All right, we feeling pretty good? Ready to roll? We're going to go up through number 6. So basically doing the exact same thing we did on this side. Up through 6. So there should be a diagonal on the back spine. And we're just poking our little hole out, number 6 right now. And then we're going to do the same thing we did with hole number 1. We're going to go around the spine and up through 6 again. And then around the bottom and up through 6 again. Oh no, yeah, we decided not to use glue this time because that got real bad when we were practicing. So we have our 2 boxes. We finished the side and the bottom, and now we're going to go down into number 5 again. So we have finished all of our little diagonals. And then at this point, everything should be pretty sturdy. So we can take our clips off. And looking at the bottom, you can easily see that we only have 1 stitch left, but there's something special we have to do with it, which is going to be potentially a little tricky. So Amelia, you're going to be used on hand. You're currently sticking out of the bottom of hole number 5, just as a reminder, and we want to go back into hole number 4, but we're not going to do that. We're going to flip through our book, trying to find the little tail that we left in there earlier.
Who remembers the very beginning?
Remembers the tail. And then we're going to go into 4, but we're going to go out through the middle of the book. So find your tail, make sure those pages are separated, and then it's going to have to go through at a little bit of an angle. But the needle will go in to the spine and out through the middle of the book. So now you have both tails reunited.
Oh man, I've collected your stickers, dude.
Sorry, one of my coworkers was accidentally collecting stickers with the tail of her shirt as she's walking by everyone.
You got them. Yeah, figured it out.
And then we're going to remove our needle. Make sure you put it in a safe space. We do not want to be losing needles because that is not safe. I'm putting mine back in here so I know exactly where he is. And now we have the 2 tails. I do suggest cutting the second one a little bit short so it's more manageable. And then we're just going to do a very basic double knot. Knot number 1. And knot number 2. So let me see if I can open it. Yep. The knot is sitting in there right now. And we are going to clip him pretty short. So I just leave about 1 centimeter. We're going to tuck those guys in. And then, surprise, we have a book. Something a little bit difficult about these books is that they're never going to lay flat, as you can probably tell. These guys, that's as far back as this is ever going to move. So, fortunately, going to bend. And as you're getting ready to bend it, I do suggest, personally, just making sure each page is bent so that they know what form they're going into as you're reading it, or drawing in it, or doodling, whatever you plan on doing with this particular book. Oh, that's so cute. I love it. Someone show me the rainbow one. Yeah. Which is why I always recommend using a bit of a harder cover, because this guy is going to be experiencing a lot of creasing right along here. The back one, not so much. I think if you want to be reading something like that, you could also flatten it, but generally I think these books, you read them like this, and then this one tends to stay flat like that. There we are, our little guy. Mine are a little bit. Oh, you're definitely free to decorate. You can flip through Willem Dafoe poses. Here he is, the master himself. Mm-hmm. What am I doing?
I just need you to use a tool. So she's accidentally gone over again instead of doing the inside one.
Mm-hmm.
Can you just use, do you have a pokey thingy?
What am I looking to do?
So this has been gone
Put it
over.
back,
Yeah,
or-
we want to pull it back out so then she can go. I just,
Let's use your fingers, I think. Yeah,
there you go, thank you. I literally just needed someone else to grab it. And I trusted your hands.
Yep. Perfect.
Yep.
So that one's slightly loose, but it's good.
Yeah.
Woo.
I just trusted your fingers more than mine.
Talented. It helps that I do embroidery in my free time. I'm very good at unpicking knots. If you ever need that particular skill in your life and you're on campus, I can undo the knot in your necklace, in your embroidery thread. Maybe not your sewing thread because that's way too thin and it's just stuck by that point. Yarn, wax thread like we're using today. Hair, maybe. Depends. Alrighty, and here we have our first book. What is our time? 1:35? That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I think, oh, perfect, I love it. After this, we are going to be moving to our hemp leaf binding, if you would like to join me for this one. Or if you're looking just to do one binding today, that's okay. You can sit here and collage your books to your heart's content. This one's pretty fun. It will end up looking like this guy. So this is the second one we're doing today. I had a lot of fun with this one. Look, I put Little Red Riding Hood all over the world. Just having a good time. But more importantly, the stitch. All right, now I'm going to be taking a 5-minute break just to get myself rejuvenated. See you all soon. Let me just leave this guy right here.
All right, if you have finished, guys, at this point, you can take a 5-minute break. You can take a restroom, get a snack, or just hang out.
Here you go. Hold on. Oof, there he goes. My bad. I can't put her down. Oh. Where? Thank you, God. Let me take this one off too. Cool.
recycle table to grab colored pencils, markers, stickers, and other decorations for your covers. If you need a plain cover, you can come up and decorate it, or you can just choose from all of our scraps. So just use that as your cover. You've got magazines, posters, newspapers, lots of stuff to choose from. We have a huge book of art if you would like to come in and try out different art pieces, put inside your book or on your covers. This is all available to you.
Yeah, like 140. We figured these would fall in this one.
those of you joining who are going to be doing the second binding, make sure you have 2 covers for that as well. I do not have a second.
How did it come out? Oh, it looks great. I have pockets.
You have pockets?
You do have pockets.
That's amazing.
Okay. Show it off. Show it off. Pockets.
What? Oh, stop it. I'm talking to the thing in particular.
Yeah.
Yeah, not you.
I was like,
Oh no, she's just trying to mind her own business and Kate's yelling at her. We don't, so does it can't wear the claw clip when this is on my head. Thank you.
Sorry.
Stop. Children on the back. I'm doing great. I haven't had food yet today. Great on my part. Yep. Oh. I'm gonna need to do this. I'm sorry, this next one's not gonna be fun for measuring either. Ooh. MSLIS students do not. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I would have normally done centimeters too, but I'm going directly from this random person online. I love her so much. Amphian's so cool for doing this, but she does use inches. Unfortunately.
I figured it'll be alright since they'll be here. It'll be a simple night for those who are here.
How you doing, friend? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. At least you get to sit in a nice you get one of the comfy chairs. So that's good.
ready?
Yeah. Okay. How are we feeling about starting book number 2, guys? Good?
Pretty
All
Gucci, hell yeah. Sorry.
right. You all did so amazing with the first one. We are going to learn a different binding style. Of course, if you're really attached to the first one, you can go ahead and do it again, but this one's a little bit more complicated, a little bit more decorative. What's this one called?
This one's called the hemp leaf.
All right.
And you also received instructions for this one as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Ooh, this does not look great for my hair. Hi. Leave me alone, Jarrett. All right, on to Elmo. Please. Okay, so here's our one. We finally finished. Yay! And off it goes. Okay, so we're doing the exact same thing in terms of size for the hemp leaf binding. Choose your 2 covers and cut them to size. I want to hurt everyone's eyes, so we're using fluorescent pink and fluorescent lime green.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, that does look... Is this going to be bad for you guys if you're watching? It is green.
That was my brother's bedroom colors.
Like, will you guys be able to follow along if I use this genuinely, or is it going to be hard? Yeah, the holes are going to be in, like, I'm going to be using this color for the thread, so I think it'll be fine.
Yeah, you'll be okay.
I'll be fine. Just be sorry about your eyes. Now I'm just quickly getting this done by using lovely old tried and true tracing. If anyone would like fluorescent pink, I have 1/2 available. Because I seem to have a personal problem with matching book covers, so.
Oh, that looks great, Monica. I think it's fine. Yeah, I don't really care right now. You got it.
Mine's double-sided, so that's one side, there's the other. Alrighty, I have cover 1. Everything getting crunched back here, which is not what I want. I kind of want to reach down for my eraser, but I also don't want to break everyone's ears by something misbehaving, so we're just not
I'm
gonna.
gonna offer if people want to trim their stuff to be straighter.
Yes. Also, side note. If you are working on your piece and you see, like here, for example, mine accidentally got some extras, especially if you want your pieces to match on this edge, you can cut it down. We have what I call the guillotine. I think its official name is the paper cutter. And you can use that to make sure that this line, especially on this edge, is perfectly straight. All right, so right now I have my front and back cover, my lovely friend. And once again, we're going to put that off to the side and start working on our, this is going to be more complicated, template. So beginning, same as last time, mark down your spine. And then you're going to have one line going down that's 3/8 from the spine and one that's 3/4 from the spine. So where did I put my ruler? There she is. Yep, so one little tick mark at the 3/8 mark, and one at the 3/4 mark. Back up here.
Oh, are you starting?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, don't go too far with two people who are cutting papers.
Perfect. Can people online hear me? All right, cool. Yeah, let me actually mark that down on here.
All right, remind us, Kate, what have we done so far?
Yeah, we were doing the 2 lines, and we're doing first line 3/8 inch from the spine, second line 3/4 inch. Maybe look at these numbers. They're not going to be fun.
It will be fun.
You ready to count? No, you're not. Oh, you knit? Yeah, that's counting. Yep. Mm-hmm. How are people doing with their 2 lines? Good, good? Ready to go? All right, get ready to maybe cry. I don't know. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 holes to make this time. Mm-hmm. And they all have very fine measurements added to them. So you can see, can you kind of read that? Well, you can see where the holes are anyway. First hole on the 3/8 one, so closest to the spine, we're going on this one. Is 3/8 from the top. And I'm using your pencil this time in case I screw up again. Second hole, 1 9/16. So that little tick mark just below 1.5 is 1 9/16. Right? Above, my bad. See, this is why. The third hole is going to be 2 3/4. So much more straightforward, right there. Next one is even, 4 inches. And then our last one is going to be 5 1/8. So let me write that down really quick. Centimeters. Man, I really misspelled centimeters, didn't I? That's embarrassing. Hello? Are you laughing at me? Oh. Yeah, so I also put centimeters here as a last ditch thing. So 0.8, 4 centimeters, 7 centimeters, 10.2 centimeters, 13 centimeters. Is that better? Do people prefer centimeters? Yeah, they don't make it that much easier, do they? How are people doing with that line? Good? Ready to go? Okay. So, moving up to the 3/4 line, we are making 4 marks here. So 1, and flip that over so it's back to inches. 1 at 3/4 of an inch. Second hole at 2 inches. Third hole, 3 5/16. Fourth hole, 4 3/4. So let me do that in centimeters really quick. Yeah, not much better, sorry. So counting them when you're done, you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 holes.
I like it.
All right, we all looking pretty good at this step? All right. Doing the same thing we did last time, attaching it to our book using the clips. Alrighty, all clipped in? Cool. Time to stab. So, same as last time, keep your card run underneath in order to protect your tables. And stab and roll a little bit to make sure your holes are a bit bigger. Especially these ones, since we will be going through a couple more times than we did in our first binding. Yeah, that's why I'm going a bit faster this time. Yes, the measurements for this last one. And this is in centimeters because it seems a bit more straightforward. Yep. Everyone looking pretty good?
Give it 3 minutes.
Okay. And leave the
Got all my holes. There's 9 this time.
We're passing about that in school.
Oh, Jarrett's very good at that. Dee-dee-dee-dee. How we feeling? Still enjoying stabbing things, hopefully? Yep. Anyone still need the measurements, or are they good on those? Okay. I have so many sticky notes all over the place right now.
You want me to throw some
Like, don't we need it again? There you go, thank you. Now I need this guy. My Sharpie does not look real on that screen. It looks like it's drawn. It doesn't, I don't know. Alrighty, and same as last time, we're just gonna move the binder clips down about halfway. That might annoy someone, let me make it more even. All right, binder clips all moved down. Looks good. All right, choosing our string. Same exact thing as last time, but this time we're gonna go 7 times the length of the spine. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 actually, yeah. We got a couple more holes to go through. So we need some more space. And then thread your needle, the potentially not fun part. And remember to have a short tail and a long tail. And as you are following me along for the next few steps, please note where I've put all the numbers on these ones. I've done 1, 2, 3, 4 for the ones that are farthest away from the spine, and 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 on the ones closest to the spine. So pay attention to where my numbers are, because those might be a little bit more confusing this time. Because I did do this one with the other one, but that seems worse.
Yeah, give them like 1 minute to know.
Yeah.
things.
Mhm.
Yeah, that looks great.
I'm really good at clicking. What's that?
Nice.
Because I had to do that for my horses growing up. Because they would not listen to you unless you did the
What were your
Noise.
horses' names?
gray. She was white.
You named your white horse Gray.
Yes.
That's cute.
And then we had cinnamon for a cinnamon colored one, Rocky for a black one. I was not a horse girl though.
Dude, I was a horse girl growing up.
You were a horse girl?
Yeah, but I even did like competitions.
You did
I
competitions?
did competitions, but I was bullied so because I was American and it was in England, and so I left the team.
Oh no.
But I did good though for like the 2 years that I did it.
Oh, good.
Isn't that Amelia Lord?
Mm-hmm.
Horseback
I wasn't
riding.
expecting it.
Yeah. I did jumps and stuff. Jumps and stuff.
All right, everyone feeling pretty good about their numbers right now?
Everyone all
About
caught
their
up with
holes?
the numbers?
Have their threads on a needle and are ready to rumble? Okie dokie. Same as last time. Cutting halfway through. Oh my goodness. Also make sure that when you do this, that you have all these separated because they like to stick to each other. Halfway through. We're going up through hole number 3 from the middle.
Just like we did last time, guys, up through the middle, hole number 3.
And leave your tail in there.
Yep,
Just tuck her in where she won't cause any problems.
make sure you number them correctly if you're following this new tutorial, just like Kate mentioned earlier.
Really gotta pay attention for this one. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the only problem with, well, not problem, but just like thing to think about when using Becca using faces is that she does not put down how long your string needs to be. You have to guess and hope for the best. And I've been wrong every single time. All right, poking up through number 3. Familiar thing, you're wrapping around the spine and going up through 3 again. Oh, I have a knot. We're good. I fixed her. I was like, no, it's too soon for that. It's too soon for that. I dance more, but I'm scared of that noise. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep, not great. This is a fun color of thread, honestly. All right, up through 3, and we're moving left down into number 2. So we're beginning to form potentially another square. Would you like some pliers? Cool. All right, we are currently down in 2, and we're going to go over the spine again and back down into 2. We have finished 1 square, ladies and gentlemen.
Hear the pin drop.
Yeah, you can hear a pin drop in here.
Oh, we've made our first box.
We made a box, yeah.
How's everyone doing with their box?
How's everyone doing with their backs? All right, from here, up into number 1. So we're going up the spine and up into number 1. Pretty good? Oh, you're good? Mm. Yep, up through 1.
No.
Because you need to make sure it's a royalty-free song. Because we're live.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Ain't no copyrighted songs allowed on this particular YouTube channel.
Could do my own song.
You could do your own song. Yes, no Disney in particular. They're not very nice. All right. Once again, circle the spine, go back up through number 1. Oh no, okay. This thread's misbehaving just a little bit, and I need her not to do that.
Everyone came up through 1?
Yes. Hopefully. And then similar to the noble stitch, around the top of the book and up through 1 again.
Do we have any online?
And then familiar move from noble binding once again. We're going down into number 5, making that diagonal again. And then again copying it, going over the spine and back down into 5. So we're making another loop. This is what the back should look like right now. Back to the front. And then, once again, we're looping over the top and going back down into 5. So now we have a very familiar pattern from earlier, our lovely square within a square. And right now we are down from 5 and going back up into number 1. So on our top edge, we should have matching fronts and backs. We are on, if you're looking at the instructions, we are on yeah, we just did step 9. And then from here, down into 2. And I know we have not touched hole 6 or 7 yet, but we are going to go back to them. So down into 2. We come up through 1 and now we're down in 2. You doing okay? Good. You've been stabbing yourself? Oh, there are thimbles in there, if you want one. Oh, from pinching the needle, yeah. Oh, we haven't gotten past that yet. You're good. We've done down into 2, and now we're going up through 3. So now we have 2 boxes here on the front side, and 2 on the back. So far, everything should be matching on the front and back at this point. Doing pretty good?
We just had some.
Yeah. I saw them, they seem nice. All right, down into number 4. And then similar to the noble binding from earlier, we are looping over the spine, back down into 4, and then looping over the top, and then down into 4. So now we have a new box, and we are currently sticking down from 4. What row? Oh, yeah. Just the computer over here dying. We don't even need it, though. Do we need it? Oh, I think it's plugged into this thing. Surprise, another outlet being used.
Here, plug that in. It plugs in right over there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think down here.
Because if Elmo passes away, we're screwed. Woo! All right, we're currently made a box here. Now we're going up into 9. Oh, come on. There you are, friend. Up into 9. We have made our diagonal on the back. And then, once again, very familiar with the noble binding. We are wrapping around the spine. And then wrapping around the bottom, and then up through 9.
I'll slow down a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. Alrighty. Feeling pretty good? Perfect. And then down into number 4. So finishing this diagonal. I hope this part has been feeling and looking pretty familiar to you guys. We chose to do this particular stitch as our second one because it expands upon the previous noble stitch. So we currently just went down into 4. And then we're actually going past where we stopped last time. We're going all the way through, up through number 3. All right, all feeling pretty good? Now we're going to jump into the holes we have not touched yet, down into number 8. All right, up through number 4. This is where making our holes bigger is working in real handy because this one currently has 4 stitches in it. So we're up through number 4. And then we are going down into number 8. So now we're seeing our very first hemp pattern starting right here in this one.
Very nice. Thank you, Kate.
Yee.
Thank you.
I try very hard. Cool. And then we're looping around the spine, going back down into 8. Whoa! Make sure your thread's not trying to catch on something. There we go. No, you can move those if you want. And then we're going back up through number 3. So now we have a matching first hemp leaf on the front and the back. Now we're moving down. 1 second. Did we get a head count? Did we get a head count? A head count? Yeah. Total people? Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Alrighty, are we all sticking out the top of number 3? All right, down into 7. And then we are looping again and going back down into 7. up through number 2. So we are not finishing this one quite yet intentionally. We're moving on to the next one. Up through 2. Down into number 6. Looping again, back down into 6 from the spine. I think I did the measurements a little off, but it's fine. Yeah, they're just a little bit to the side, but it's fine. Looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. All right, from here, up into number 1. Okay, and then back down into 6. Yep, we're getting close to being almost finished with this. I think I goofed. What'd you goof? That.
What? What's the difference?
So you go up into 2. And then up into 2.
You got it? And then
Oh my,
down.
thank God I do have it. Okay, I was like, oh my God.
This is just the one where you go half
Mhm.
in between. Yeah.
Yep. I was like, oh no. We're good.
And then I'm thinking we'll give them 5 minutes of decorating and have people come up and display those on the.
Yes. Alrighty, back down into number 7. So we're finishing off this guy. And then this is our lovely final stitch that we're going to be working in from the back. Remember, we have to go find our tail again.
Remember, for the last one, guys, you're going to be opening your book up.
So here's the front, here's the back. There should be one more spot left that hasn't been touched yet. So look through your little booklet. Find your missing little stitch. And let your needle and thread come join them.
happy camp, both for everyone here and for our friends online. I'm sure they would love to see all of the different designs you guys did. I've seen a lot of really fun designs.
A lot of really fun collages here today.
Really fun collages today. So in the next few minutes, please come up and show us what you did.
And then when you're done, just cut it short to about a centimeter. And there you have your lovely hemp stitch.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Kate. Give Kate a round of applause, guys.
Thank you so much for having me. I'll be here for another hour. No, that's a lie. Soon. All right, and then off. Help. I turn this guy. Is it just the one that says off? Do I hold it down?
Roll the volume knob and go to the off, the low volume side, go clicks.
Click. All right. Perfect. We're down. Yep. You just finished our second ones.
People have made some really beautiful stuff today. So in the next few minutes, as they finish up
Make sure this place is
making
all
their covers
clear.
beautiful, we're gonna have them show off
Come show them.
their designs.
Oh, that's so much stuff.
If anyone just doesn't feel like walking up, you can raise your hand and I will show off your design.
Is it all right if I take this off?
I was asking Neil.
And thank you to our online viewers. Thank you so much for having us today.